All right, so this is a suggestion via Patreon. The name of the video is a two-headed giant discovered in Patagonia. Huh. Let's check it out.
Semir Osmanagic, a Bosnian-American businessman now based in Houston, Texas, has long claimed that a particular and uncannily angled hill, long presumed as a natural formation, is actually the largest human-made ancient pyramid on Earth. The claims have predictably been met with hostility by those in the academic world who protect modern paradigm. His work has also been heavily criticized, not only as a hoax, but damaging to the other areas of Bosnia which are authentic and mainstream accepted ruins.
I mean, so you're saying this. I mean, I get it. A Bosnian pyramid. Interesting. I see the shape. It looks like it could potentially be one that is really old, right? And covered in overall grass, right? But have you dug into it enough to say that, right? Like, have you dug deep enough to realize that it is what you say it is, or are you just speculating? Because these ruins are not really accepted ruins locally. So that means you can just go there and basically dig because the country doesn't even care or even know if that's a real thing. So you do have the chance, bro, right? You can prove it instead of just talking about it, right? Just a thought.
However, regardless of these hostilities, Semir has continued his research and promotion of the area as a tourist attraction. Furthermore, what he has since discovered from numerous excavations is curious, clearly artificial, and massive ancient activities now hidden beneath several meters of strata. Not only have these discoveries of ancient masonry corroborated his ancient claim, but there is also evidence to suggest that incredible efforts were made to divert and control the flow of local water systems, channeling them into and beneath the structure. Regardless of these discoveries, mainstream sources continue to dismiss his claims, and indeed further supporting discoveries, continuing to retain a position of complete denial, claiming that, quote, there is no evidence that they were shaped by human construction. The European Association of Archaeologists has condemned the so-called Bosnian pyramids as a cruel hoax, along with various other scholars, end quote. There are others, however, who have looked into the research and indeed Semir's efforts in depth, and from this have come to realize that there is much about this curious hill still to be unraveled, and regardless of the skeptics' unrelenting hostility to said claims, they have discovered something rather extraordinary. According to radiocarbon dating, done on an artificially constructed tunnel which penetrates the pyramidal feature, if accepted by mainstream academics, they would also have to be dated at over 32,000 years old. Could this be the reason for such hostilities in regard to fully exploring the site? The tunnels found in Ravni Park II have been carbon dated by the Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation. We have ourselves in the past explored the casing stones upon the Great Pyramids of Giza. These stones, clearly of a much younger age than the stone in which they are now preserving, severe erosion upon these earlier stones, we feel, may also be indicative of a similar age to that found at the Bosnian site. Semir commented on the latest find by stating, quote, according to the results of the examination of stalagmites found in the new tunnels, we discovered an antiquity of 26,200 years old. It means that these entrances and tunnels, which until now have remained hidden from the public, go deep into the past of the region. He continued, when we add the time needed to prepare the base for the creation of stalagmites and corrections for calibrated age to the radiocarbon age, we arrive at about 32,000 years.
I mean, listen, if these are images like of the place, like real images of the place, then guys, this isn't natural. Like none of this is naturally forming. There shouldn't really be too much of an argument. If the tunnels themselves exist or existed, right? There's really no argument here, guys. Bosnia had a pyramid 26,000 years ago. Okay. I mean, if this is the proof, if this is real, right, at least, if these images are real, then I would have to probably agree with the guy, because there's nothing natural occurring about this walkway here, guys. There's nothing natural occurring.
This is exactly the age of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun and the underground tunnels of Ravni, and they are all part of the same culture, concluded Osmanagic, speaking to Dnevni Avaz. These discoveries, along with Samir's earlier work, regardless of the skepticism which predictably surrounds the site, we find highly compelling.
It's compelling. Absolutely.
During our research, we have stumbled across countless legends and accounts from history which tell of ancient giants. Not only legends, but photographic evidence, and an equal amount of initial newspaper reports of their discovery. This often accompanied with the mention of the Smithsonian Institute's insatiable interest in such finds, and then an inevitable erasure of said finds from future research. Rarely has an ancient giant been allegedly found, with the remains seemingly slipping the net of said institute's attention, making it into mainstream research and an ally's collection before the Smithsonian was able to make said discovery vanish from history. Capua being one of these particular finds, which not only matches the initial claims, but has remained in mainstream historical research. Tales of a two-headed, 11-foot-tall giant are not only corroborated by photographic evidence, but the actual mummified corpse of the giant himself. The initial discovery of this incredible being was made back in 1673. An ogre, or two-headed giant, is said to have assaulted a party of Spanish sailors, who fortunately overcame said giant with cunning. After trapping the giant, the sailors planned on killing it, fearing repercussions if released. The cause of the giant's death, however, has long been debated, but what cannot be denied is the astonishing remains.
I want to see a color image of, if it's a, what we would now call like a Siamese twin or conjoined twin. I would like to see the actual part where they're conjoined, like in color, in 4K, and in as high as megapixel as humanly possible. Specifically, because a lot of these weird like antiquity shops that would show like old freaks of nature, right? They're all fake. Like the majority, they're all fake, right? So, do I believe that there's someone that could have been 11 feet? We had Robert Wadlow, who was what, almost 9 feet, 10 feet, guys? How tall was Robert Wadlow? But yeah, we still have like people on Earth who are over 8 feet tall. So I don't doubt that there was some time in our human history that there was someone who was extremely tall, guys. I think Robert Wadlow was almost 9 feet, guys. Wadlow. Height. Robert Wadlow height. Let's see. 8'11", right? So there's no doubt here. I don't think Robert Wadlow was the tallest person that has ever lived. I don't think that's. I mean, that's just in our last. He was born in 1918. Guys, think about that for a second. So, 11 feet. That's a little crazy, right? But two-headed, right? That's rough for me to believe. If this is what the video is about, we're going to see where we're going with this. I want to know the size of his feet also. The size of his feet. And I honestly would just have to probably inspect his body because, again, a lot of this stuff is fake, right? Like it would not surprise me that someone would create something like this for the sole purpose of showing it to people for money. You get what I'm saying here? Because the times were super weird in the early 1900s around the world, right? I want to see the lines here because this is not a super common conjoinment, right? This is almost too perfect right here, right? But all right, let's get it.
Which eventually made their way to London. The mummy then vanishes from the history books for nearly 400 years, reappearing in 1914 on the shores of the Burnbeck Harbor in the UK. The mummy inevitably became an extremely popular attraction, with people traveling from thousands of miles away to come and peer at this once monstrous two-headed giant. It remained in the public eye until 1959, a rare exhibit which escaped the clutches of those who would wish to hide it, with many photographs and other research projects allowed to be undertaken on the giant's remains by Lord Howard. This incredible giant, thanks to the Lord's dedication to said curiosity, remains in existence within the public's domain, an undeniable verification of a lost race of giants, which we have long claimed to have had first-hand experience of in their past discovery. A magnificent 3-meter-tall mummified corpse of an ancient giant does indeed exist, and due to its age and primitive technologies available to said claimed sailors, when initially discovered, the possibility of it being an elaborate stitched-together hoax has been seemingly debunked, but also ignored by mainstream media due to the controversial nature of said finds. Who was Captua? Was he part of a race of beings in Patagonia, a race we have merely seen these remains of? Is the corpse authentic? If not, how was he constructed to such an astonishing detail so far back in history? Captua is undoubtedly highly compelling.
I would not say that this very specific one is super compelling. It would be if I was to actually see it in person, maybe. But it's a little troubling, right? It's probably a little bit more than troubling, to be honest. It doesn't look real to me. Just looking at it, the toes are in very odd positions, even based off of the decomposition of it. Not even a lot of decomposition. Just keep that in mind. Somehow they were able to literally mummify it in a way that, I don't know, guys, troubling. This is one that I'm going to probably spend, unfortunately, way too many hours of my life I'm about to throw into this video, guys. Into this Captua. I already have it pulled up on the iPad, and we'll look at this later.
The Russian Academy of Sciences recently published a series of photographs taken by the Venera probe over 30 years ago on the surface of our closest neighbor, Venus. The photos, according to Leonid Ksanformality, present evidence of living organisms upon Venus, one of the most inhospitable places for human life in the solar system. The second planet from the Sun, it's believed to have once been Earth-like, although the constant temperature there now is around 480 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, even hotter than Mercury, which is tremendously closer to our Sun. According to Ksanformality, who is Doctor of Physical and Mathematical Science for the Institute of Space Research, the images reveal the movement of extremely strange objects on the surface of Venus. Predictably, NASA, along with many other institutes of research, have attempted to debunk his discovery, stating that the objects are nothing more than a lens cap and noise generated by the second-hand pictures, claiming that some of the objects are not present in the original images.
Hold on, guys.
Stating that the objects are nothing more than a lens cap and
a lens cap. The object is nothing more than a lens cap. Guys, I've been a photographer for almost 20 years now, guys. What are you talking about?
Noise generated by the second-hand picture.
Okay, wait, hold on. Is that the lens cap in the dirt? Okay.
Claiming that some of the objects are not present in the original images.
All right.
Ksanformality believes that in the images, a scorpion-shaped creature, a disc-shaped object, and a black object are visible moving in front of the onboard camera of the Venera 13. Quoting Ksanformality in an article for the Russian journal Solar System Research magazine, they all just emerge, fluctuate, and then disappear. What if we forget about the currently held theory regarding the non-existence of life on Venus and boldly suggest that these objects, these morphological features, captured within these images?
I mean, if anything, it looks mechanical. It looks more mechanical based off of the straight lines right here, right? Than something that's like natural. It does look like something, I don't know, guys. I wouldn't say that this is like a living being. Legs? I don't know about that, guys. It does look weird. This is intriguing.
Would allow us to say that they are indeed living. End quote. Scientists have not ruled out that once, in the very distant past, Venus might have supported life in a time when
life as we know it. Think about this here for a second, guys. There are beings that live in the bottom, the depths of our oceans. Us humans cannot survive there, but yet they still are, right? So I think a better representation of life on another planet would be beings that have the ability to survive, sustain themselves, and thrive in harsh temperatures and climates, but only harsh by our standards, not their standards, right? So I would just equate it to beings that live in the bottom of our ocean. Those things are aliens to us.
Planet had giant oceans before the greenhouse effect created the temperatures that rule over the planet today. However, they firmly refute the possibility of living creatures alive on the planet's surface today. As Ivan, writer over at Ancient Origins, eloquently put it, the problem with science and scholars in search for extraterrestrial life is that mankind believes that for life to exist elsewhere in the solar system or universe, a planet should have similar climate and conditions to those of Earth. End quote. In support of his argument, and in staunch defiance of the rigidly held views upon the environment needed to sustain life, a reality discovered in 1977, hydrothermal vents deep within our oceans, which belch steam from deep within the Earth's mantle, have temperatures just as hot as the surface of Venus. They are also home to countless previously thought impossible creatures, showing humans, especially the skeptics, that anything is possible.
Yeah. But what are you showing me right now? Okay. All right. That's intriguing. Wow. Seriously. I think this happens a lot in Russia, though. Like, a lot of this is... Wait. It's beautiful, guys. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, guys. Now that Bosnian Pyramid, I do honestly think that that's probably something. And it's something that should probably be invested into so we can get more overall information regarding that Bosnian Pyramid, guys. Now, an ancient giant... Guys, I'm kind of under the impression that there have been people that were larger. I don't know if they are what we would call human, right? Maybe there was something else that were human-esque, but not very specifically our current iteration of humanity, right? And then that one, the two-headed giant, I think it's fake. Just without any data, I look at it and I think it's fake because I've seen a whole lot of things like that are troubling, and I just don't know if I would want to even invest too much time into it, but I'm going to. I know it. I know how my brain works because I'm obsessed over it for a little while here. Just trying to get as much information in about that as humanly possible. Cap Dua, the two-headed giant. They called them the Patagonian cannibal. This website here is saying that they were over 12 feet. This one here is saying 11 feet, so that's interesting. Creation date. You see what I'm saying here, guys? It's tricky. I don't know if it's like a real thing or not. They're saying that it was created between 1914 and 1930, guys. So that's around the time when unfortunately the freak shows were going on, guys, right? So either way, listen, let me know in the comments on the next subject we should be checking out, and I will get into that as soon as I possibly can. I like history oriented things and like new things that I've never heard of, guys, so that's a good thing. If you guys are interested in that, stick with me, right? And yeah, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.